Breaking news. Again, Nnamdi Kanu puts Zo government in tight corner as Justice James Omotosho became confused in the court in Abuja. Hear the news in details. Wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, you are welcome once again to Biafra Unite channel /television this very moment. Today's date is 4th of November 2025, and I have a very important information for every one of you listening to my voice right now from wherever you are all over the world. Dear friends and lovers of freedom, I want you to pay very good attention to this very news because it's very, very important. I can assure you, my people. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has once again put the Zo government in tight corner as Justice James Omotosho became confused in the court in Abuja to the extent of trying to threaten Nnamdi Kanu. So without further ado, we are going to read the news in full details and of course analyze it properly if need be. And as you can see on your screen, I will be reading from Sarah Reporters. And the title says, Court adjourns Nnamdi Kanu's trial, asks IPOB leader to open defense of its right. Okay. The judge issued the directive after Kanu, for the fourth consecutive day, insisted he would not begin his defense following the prosecution's closure of its case and the court's earlier dismissal of his no-case submission. Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court Abuja has given the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Nnamdi Kanu, until Wednesday, November 5th, which is tomorrow, to open his defense in the terrorism case against him or forfeit his right to do so. The judge issued the directive after Kanu, for the fourth consecutive day, insisted he will not begin his defense following the prosecution's closure of its case and the court's earlier dismissal of his no-case submission. Justice Omotosho thereafter warned that if Kanu does not open his defense on Wednesday, November 5th, he will be considered to have voluntarily waived his right. What are we even talking about? What is Nnamdi Kanu going to defend? This judge should be asking the Zo government and their prosecutor, how did Nnamdi Kanu get to the zoo? How comes Nnamdi Kanu is facing trial in the Zo court? How did he get to the zoo? Because when you talk about legalities, when you talk about legal battle, you don't just jump because you are here now, okay, come and face trial. No, that has nothing to do with legal proceedings. You understand? It has nothing to do with legal process. If you want to begin to try somebody, you must start from beginning. How did you get here? How were you arrested? Were you really arrested or abducted? If it's an abduction, that is a crime against you by the state, committed by the state. So you standing on top of that illegality and irregularity to try Nnamdi Kanu is another crime against your own constitution. You understand? So I don't know what the judge is trying to do here. Nnamdi Kanu has told you that he has no case to answer. If you want to try him by fire by force, begin the right way by asking the Zo government and their prosecutor, how did you bring this man here? Oh yes. Because if the judge does the right thing, then this should be the first thing to do. The first question, how did this man arrive here? Forget any other shenanigan, any other thing they are trying to do. The whole world is watching. The court had earlier on October 27 adjourned to November 4th for Kanu to either file his final written address or proceed with his defense. At Tuesday's sitting, which is today, Nnamdi Kanu, who is representing himself, informed the court that he had not filed any final written address as instructed, but had instead submitted a motion and a supporting affidavit. He insisted that he would not present any defense, stating that there was no valid or existing charge against him under any known law. Kanu also declared that he would not return to detention, demanding his immediate release and freedom, as he maintained that there was no lawful basis for his continued trial. Prosecuting counsel Adeboyega Awomolo-san opposed Kanu's filings, contending that the documents were incompetent and not properly before the court. Okay. He accused Kanu of deliberately trying to delay the proceedings and urged the court to treat the new document as his final written address so that both parties could adopt their submissions and the matter be set for judgment. In his ruling, Justice Omotosho held that Kanu's recent filings were properly submitted and will be evaluated during judgment. Acknowledging that Kanu is not a lawyer, the judge said he should be allowed time to seek legal advice and obtain necessary assistance. Justice Omotosho then adjourned the case to November 5th for Kanu to either open his defense or be deemed to have forfeited his right to do so. Last Friday, Sahara reporters reported that Nnamdi Kanu filed a new motion before the Federal High Court in Abuja, asking the court to strike out all charges against him and order his immediate release, which is the right thing to do, to be honest. In the new court document obtained by Sahara reporters, the motion is titled Motion on Notice and Written Address in Support and dated 30th of October 2025. Nnamdi Kanu, who is representing himself in court, told the trial judge that there is no charge or count cognizable within the corpus juris of the Federal Republic of Animal Kingdom, Nigeria, against him, insisting that the charges are a nullity ab initio for want of any extant legal foundation. The document, filed pursuant to several constitutional and statutory provisions, including Section 1366B and 3612 of the 1999 Constitution, the Evidence Act 2011, and the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, forms part of Kanu's continued legal challenge against his ongoing prosecution by the Nigerian government, not prosecution but persecution. Kanu asked the court to make an order striking out in its entirety the purported charge as it fails to constitute any offense known to law. Did you hear that? As the charges fails to constitute any offense known to law. You understand? No offense whatsoever. Because for somebody to carry a microphone and say, I want my people to be free, has never committed any offense. And for one to say, let us defend ourselves and our land against the incursion of the Fulani terrorists, which was already wreaking havoc even in the southeast political zone. Igbo, this same person has committed no offense because security is the number one priority of not only any government but individuals. If you fail to secure yourself, you will be in danger. Meabluzia in a complex situation like the one in the zoo. So one to defend himself is never a crime known to any law in the world because they have no case, no single case against Nnamdi Kanu. That's why all these shenanigans. And he continued, noting that the prosecution had relied on repealed and non-existent laws, namely the Customs and Exercise Management Act, CEMA, Cap C45 LFN 2004, repealed by Section 1811 of the Nigerian Customs Service Act 2023, and the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013, repealed by Section 97 of the TPPA 2022. So, as for me, I do not have much to say about this. Tomorrow is going to be the 5th of November 2025. Nnamdi Kanu will once again appear before the court. We want to see how the zoo is going to escape this. How they are going to use injustice to, try to change the narrative. We want to see. So with all the things Nnamdi Kanu has put before the judge, it is evidently clear that the zoo has no case against Nnamdi Kanu, and Justice James Omotosho has to do the right thing, not to resort to threats. He has to do the right thing by setting Nnamdi Kanu free. Since they want to do it by law, he has to do the right thing by setting him free, because Nnamdi Kanu has no case to answer.
Anybody standing in trial or coming to try me is a terrorist. That's what their law says.
Section what mean?
As simple as that. Section 2, subsection 3F of Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. That's what it says. Any court considered to try me is committing an act of terrorism.
Yes.
Very clear. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then come to try that very person. Is not done anywhere in the world. So you must be aware of that. So that is why there is all these ridiculous delays. That is what Supreme Court said. I did not jump bail. My home was invaded. They came to kill me and I survived. They came to Kenya to kidnap me, brought me back to this country and seeking to try me, which the law says cannot happen. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then hope to stand on that illegality to conduct a trial. Is not done anywhere in the world. And it happened in my case.
President Trump is threatening to go to war on Nigeria a day after designating the West African nation a country of particular concern over the killings of thousands of Christians there. Stephanie Bennett is live in London with more on this. Stephanie.
Hey, John. Yeah, the president has been very vocal in the last 24 hours on Truth Social. I want to read you just a couple excerpts of one that came out 5 minutes ago. The president said, quote, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killings of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now, quote, disgraced country, guns a-blazing, he says. He is then hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. And he also says in that post, warning the Nigeria government better move fast. Now, yesterday, the president posted also on Truth Social announcing that he was going to put this country as a country of particular concern, saying something must be done. He's now asking Congressman Riley Moore, Chairman Tom Cole, and the House Appropriations Committee to look into it and to report back.
I think this is going to make a huge difference, and we're going to get right to work on this and get to the bottom of what's happening and give President Trump a full menu of options that we can use to try to stop these killings.
Yeah, and Moore says there's about 15 possible options, including suspension of security assistance and targeted sanctions. Nigeria is, of course, considered one of the most dangerous places in the world to be a Christian, according to the well-regulated Open Doors International Group. Over the years, thousands of Christians have been killed in churches, schools, and entire villages have been burned, some even branded a genocide. The Nigerian government vowed today to keep fighting violent extremism and said it hoped Washington would remain a close ally. But some analysts blame the country's inability to protect its citizens over that wide spectrum of armed groups that operate across the country, including Boko Haram.
I think fundamentally Nigeria is a failed state. Corruption is simply out of control. So are the kinds of resources that should be there. It is a major exporter of oil, so it should be a rich country, but a lot of it gets diverted through corruption. So they don't have the resources in order to provide their security forces what they need in order to fight back.
And in order to combat this issue, earlier this year, Washington approved $346 million in arms for Nigeria. Back to you, John.
All right.